Hello everyone. So now in this video we are going to see how to set up Aurora in any of your projects. In order to get started, first create a Firebase project and then create a Firestore database in which you will add the unknown questions that are asked by the user. So if you see here, these are the unknown questions that are asked by the user. So in Aurora we have three models. Okay, we have JSON model, we have BERT model, and we have GENA model. JSON model is a very simple model. It works with the JSON database. And let's see how to get started with the JSON model. If needed, you can add the aurora.css, which contains the code for voice assistant animations and all those things. And if you want to store the unknown questions in your database, you can add the Firebase script tags. And the data.json is a mandatory file because it would have the question and answers. So if you see my data.json file, these are the questions I have created. So for example, if a user says hi, hello or hi, my Aurora would respond as hello. If a user's sentence contain hi, how are you, it would be like, it would just take the hi and would respond with hello, and would take the how are you and would respond with thanks for asking, I am fine. So you have to fine tune the model according to the need of your users. And if the user is speaking a large sentence, for example, he is speaking blah 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 blah, a very long sentence, and in that sentence, if a word matches with these JSON, it will print the answer. For example, let's say the user is asking about tell me about Aurora, what I did not know. As the user sentence contain tell me about Aurora, it would print the answer, it would say the answer Aurora is an AI powered assistant, and the remaining of the sentence. So this is one of the perks of the JSON model, but you have to fine tune it in a very detailed way so that you don't miss anything. Okay, this is one of the simple way to get started with Aurora. And also you have to add the JS file. So you can say that I have added a responsive voice. As it is a voice assistant, we have to make sure that the voice is good. So I'm using responsive voice, and json.js is where the main code lies. So in here, if you are using Firebase, then you have to change the configs for your project. If you are not using Firebase, just remove these code, remove this configuration and anything related to the Firebase. But if you are using Firebase, just change the configs and you can use the code. It works well, so you don't have to change any other things. Okay, so let's get to the next model, which is the BERT model. So BERT model is completely different from JSON model. Why it is? It is quick and fast and responsive. In this model, you don't have to give any JSON database. Instead, you give a passage. If you're doing a business or any other thing, any other project, you just have to create a passage which have all of the question and answer. Let me show you demo. Before using the BERT model, you have to include the TensorFlow TF.js, which is TensorFlow JS model, and you have to also add the Q&A model from the TensorFlow. Okay, this is make sure you add the same link because this is the one link that works right now. And if you need, you can add the CSS file. Aurora.css is for the voice assistant and chat.css is for the chat support. And also make sure to add the BERT.js file and chat.js file in the bottom of your body. Okay, so let me show you the BERT.js file. In the BERT.js file, first you have to load the BERT model, which is the Q&A model from TensorFlow, and then you have to define a passage. So this passage contains everything about Aurora in a very short form. So what our model does, what our BERT model does, is that it analyzes the passage, and if the human or the user asks any question related to Aurora, it checks the passage and answers it using the NLP, so that we don't have to match similar things like JSON object. Okay, so following the next thing, we have the GENA model, which is a little bit complex and it also takes a lot of time to run, but still you can set it using the same configs as we said before. So first you have to include the CSS file, which is not mandatory, but if you need it, you can set it up. And at last, you can use the gena.js file, and it should be the type module, because that is what we have mentioned. In the gena.js file, you can see that it's a module, so we can import it from the transformers. Okay, which is a powerful tool, which is a powerful scripture. So here we have set up the responsive voice, and we have also set up the text generation transform. There are many transformer pipelines. So the pipeline we are using is text generation, which is used for generative purposes of any topics. So I have created the Aurora context, but right now I'm not using it, but you can use it because it just makes our model a little bit slow. So in the get answers question, I have defined the model and I will pass the response to our model. So the role of the system, I have mentioned it. Okay, and then the role of the user, he has to pass questions. So once the questions are passed, it will take a certain amount of time to print the message. So you can display the message wherever you want. If you're following this tutorial, you can just use it as it is, and you don't have to change many of the things. You just have to add the links and not many other things. So you can see the demo in here. So this is our JSON model, and you can see it's a very fast model. Let's ask anything about here. Hi, how are you?
Hello. Thanks for asking. I'm fine.
So you can see that it is responsive and it is very fast. And if you get to the BERT model, first the model
BERT model is loading.
would take some time
BERT
to
model
load.
is loaded.
So once the model is loaded, you can ask the questions via the chatbot, or you can ask it via the voice assistant. For example, let's ask, when was Aurora launched? Okay. At first, the model takes some time to load. When was Aurora launched? Okay, I don't know why it takes some time. When was Aurora launched?
2022.
So you can say that it answers our question, but it takes some time. So for first time to load. And the next thing is we have the generative answer plan.
GENA model is loading.
So we have only incorporated the chat because it would not be possible for the
GENA model
voice
loaded successfully
to be loaded in real time. And even for the text, you can ask anything to the GENA model. It will respond, but the response time would be very high. It would almost take around 1 minute to answer any questions. You can try it out. Okay, that's it guys. I hope I'm clear with everything. I would post the code in GitHub and you can use it and you can tweak the code as necessary. Thank you.